My first ever iPhone was the iPhone XR, and for some reason when I picked up the iPhone Air for the first time, that same feeling came back. It felt like Apple took the XR idea and stretched it into a thinner and more modern form. But here's the thing, I didn't buy this phone to replace my main device. I bought it for a very specific reason. Not because it's powerful, not because it's a pro, but because it's simple. Alright, you have to understand that a lot of people don't need a phone to do everything. For example, what would my grandmother need a telephoto lens or a wide lens for? I don't think that she was gonna need that ever. She'll probably just need a phone that fits into her life without friction. And I've been using the iPhone Air as a backup device for that exact same reason. But here's the problem, not knowing if it's actually worth it for you. So today I'll talk about some pros, I'll talk about some cons, and I'll try to help you understand if this phone is actually right for you. I promise to keep it simple, clear, without overthinking it. So let's dive right in. The iPhone Air is Apple's attempt at minimalism again. To understand the iPhone Air, first thing you need to understand is Apple's intention. This is not a pro phone. It's thin, it's very light, and has no superfluities. Apple didn't design this for power users. They literally designed it for people who value form, portability, and convenience over raw capabilities. And it comes in 4 colors: sky blue, light gold, cloud white, and space black. Alright, before I get any further into this video, let me show you what you get when you order the iPhone Air. Alright, so this is the iPhone Air. You peel the back and you're immediately met with the phone front and center. Underneath it, there's just one thing, the USB-C cable. That's it. No charger, no extras, and honestly, that simplicity isn't accidental. Phone is eSIM only worldwide, so it has no physical SIM tray. That's one of the sacrifices that Apple had to make to keep this phone as thin and lightweight as it is. When you pick it up, the first thing you notice is how little it weighs. The edges feel clean and precise, the buttons are tight, balance, and comfort, even if it meant leaving some things out. Here's how I actually use the iPhone Air. This is my backup phone. I keep my Cameroon WhatsApp on here, client conversations, business updates, constant communication. That way my main phone stays personal and this one stays focused. And for that role, the iPhone Air is honestly perfect for it. Now let's talk about the pros of the iPhone Air. The entire identity of the iPhone Air starts with the design. The problem is thin phones usually feel fragile. And most people hear slim and immediately think it's easy to break. But what surprised me is actually how solid it feels. Despite how thin it is, the frame doesn't flex easily. People have tried to bend it, stress it, and it holds up better than you expect. Apple clearly reinforces phone where it matters. It's light, yes, but it doesn't feel cheap and it feels intentionally engineered. This is one of those phones where you realize thin doesn't automatically mean it's good. Apple didn't put a budget chip in this phone. A lot of slim phones sacrifice performance to stay this thin. But the iPhone Air runs on Apple's latest generation Silicon A19 class performance. These data here are instant messaging, browsing, calling, multitasking, no hiccups. So this isn't a sustained gaming or rendering phone, but for real life, it's fast, it's responsive, and it's efficient. It performs like a modern iPhone should, just without the pro level thermal headroom that they expect it to carry. If you're looking for that, definitely you should find that in the pro level iPhones. You know, one thing that people don't talk about enough is how readable a phone is. You can have a very bright screen, but it doesn't matter if reflections is gonna kill its visibility. Thanks to the anti-reflective coating on the iPhone Air, it actually helps outdoor. You don't fight the glare as much, text stay readable, colors stay clean. It's one of those subtle upgrades you only notice when you're actually outside. This phone has just one camera, and I'm not gonna lie, Apple leaned more into the software part. One camera sounds limiting, yeah, but for video calls and casual recording, center stage keeps you framed as you move. It tracks your face, keeps things centered. It's great for video calls, quick clips and movements. Photos are clean and natural, but this is not for creators, and Apple doesn't even pretend it is. This phone is eSIM only worldwide, so if you rely on physical SIM cards, that might be a deal breaker for you. But remember how thin this phone is. It's only 5.6mm thin, and some sacrifices have to definitely be made to keep this phone thin and internally efficient. But for some people, managing many numbers digitally or traveling, it actually simplifies things for them. For me, I'm a line of business, this works perfectly. Now let's talk about the cons of this phone. This is where creators need to listen very carefully. My god, I love the wide angle lens of the Pro model iPhones, but unfortunately here there's no wide angle lens, there's no telephoto lens. You cannot shoot log video here, you cannot shoot ProRes, you cannot shoot raw photos here. My god, the reality is this is not a production camera, so if you create content seriously, you're gonna feel boxed in. Not gonna lie, I tried gaming on this phone, but I quickly discovered that thin phones manage heat differently. Remember, there's no vapor chamber cooling here on this phone, so during sustained gaming or long video recording, heat builds faster. It's not dangerous like it can explode or something, but it's noticeable. So something that's not talked about a lot in this phone is that it supports 5G, but the ultra fast millimeter wave isn't part of the equation. The reality is, in places like Canada or many developing countries or regions, that's not a big loss, but the power users are gonna notice this change. If you're like me, I love listening to music, whether I'm under the shower or I'm just trying to get into the mood. Why am I saying this? I noticed that this iPhone here has just a single speaker. It's clear, but it's not immersive. It's fine for video calls, it's fine for casual videos, there's nothing cinematic. I don't expect you to believe me when I say this speaker is whack, so I decided to put it to a test. So let's play some music on my iPhone 17 Pro Max and compare it to this iPhone. So let's get to it. I'll pull up my iPhone 17 Pro Max and play some music. I'm gonna play some royalty free music because I don't want copyright on the channel. Let's start with the music from the iPhone Air. That's max volume on the iPhone Air. Now let's listen to max volume on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Damn. That's like day and night. Believe me, I can use this under the shower without having any issues. Alright, I have very little comments on the battery life of this phone. Apple says you have up to 27 hours of playback on a single charge, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that is true or just accept with them. That is why in my next video I'm going to be doing a day in a life with this phone. I'm going to be testing it out and trying to go through that battery vividly and make sure that I'm able to prove if it's able to have that time, or rather show you how this phone fits into my lifestyle. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell on, because that video is going to be coming very soon. So after leaving the iPhone Air, here's the honest truth. This is not a phone Apple built to impress everyone. This is not for power users, it's not for creators, and it's definitely not trying to replace the Pro model iPhones. But once you stop judging it like a Pro, this phone finally makes too much sense. The iPhone Air is built for people who value lightness, simplicity, and comfort over raw features. It's thin, it's light, it disappears into your pocket. For me personally, this works perfectly as a secondary phone. I keep my Cameroon business line here, client conversations, work stays separate, and in that role, the limitations stop feeling like flaws and I start feeling like design choices. Yes, you lose pro video modes. Yes, there's only one camera. Yes, it heats up faster under heavy use. Those are trade-offs Apple made to keep this phone as thin and simple as it is. So here's my recommendation. If you want an iPhone to do everything, this is not it. But if you already use or plan to use two phones, if you want clean, dependable device for communication, travel, or business, the iPhone Air actually makes a lot of sense. This phone actually reminds me of the iPhone X era. It's not flashy, it's not over-engineered, it's just honest. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. So if this video helped you understand the iPhone Air better, go ahead and drop a like on this video. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, see you in the day in the live video.